So here's a 400D. So here's the basic light. So this has got a 20 times ratio spot to flood. So that's the spot there, and when I flood it out, you'll see it can almost fill the whole of the screen here. If you imagine a typical Fresnel light 6 times, and this is 20 times, so already there's a huge difference. And as I say, it's got this clean beam technology. It basically means that the beam is pretty homogenized from edge to center, and also it doesn't suffer from color fringing as other lights do. And this light, as you can see, doesn't have that problem. So when you're looking at the DLH400D beam, it's even from edge to edge. So you could get a light meter and you could go from the edge of the beam through the whole beam, and there'd be no variation in the light output, which is like the sun, completely even from edge to edge. So this is something that, again, technically you might think, well, that's all very good, but how does it actually apply to image making? Well, we subconsciously recognize these things. So when we are trying to replicate the sun, we need something that's as close to the sun as possible in order to produce something that's convincing to the audience. Barn doors, as you're well aware, most lights have the facility for barn doors. Most hard lights have the facility for barn doors. What makes these slightly unique is they do have these little wings on the sides here, which allow you to kind of close them down. And if I show you this on the screen here, you'll see that, again, no colour fringing, very clean, controllable. So that's a nice shape you can produce there, a very clean shape. And if I go straight to full flood, you see how hard the little lines are there. So that gives you an idea. I mean, that's a real test of how clean the optics are on this. You can see there's hardly any colour fringing, and it's quite a clean, precise light. Again, completely even from edge to edge. The more you use these things, the more you notice how much effort and thought has been put into the design and manufacture of these. They're really built to last. I can say that, from my experience, because I've been using them for like 20 years. So we look at the imaging system, because this is kind of unique to Dado. This is when these lights really start getting exciting, because you can see how precise these optics can get. So you can see what Josh is doing here is he's got the cutters and he's creating a tiny little shape of light in the middle of the screen here. So now Josh is focusing the beam, and you can really see the masterfulness of these optics. I mean, that's quite incredible. In fact, I did a job once where we had to light the eyeballs of someone, not the actual whole eye, just the iris. We had 2 small Dado 150s with these imaging systems on, and we managed to light just his eyeballs, which you wouldn't think would be possible, right? But look, you can see, you can go down to the smallest sliver of light, like that. And isn't that incredible? So you can see, ends up as a very precise little shaft of light. And that can be projected across, 20 foot of a room. So yeah, this is the imaging system. These are the shutters on it. It also has an adapter that you can project transparencies on, 35mm size or medium format size transparencies. You even have like a cooling system that you can get larger transparencies and project them. So in theory you could have your own backdrops rather than getting scenic paintings painted. You could just project images onto the background through this light. It's also got an iris which allows you to have a circular shutdown, which has a little kind of lever on it, so you can open and shut down an iris, which is nice for certain effects. If you're using this light to bounce into a reflector, then what you can do is you can use the iris to control how much of that reflector is lit. So yeah, I'm a big fan of these, and as you can see, you won't get any more precision than using an imager. So we use them, traditionally we use them a lot for pack shots, but as you can see, they can be used for anything. I often use them on a set, have one light with an imager on it. So if I need to project light across a room, it's kind of like the finest paintbrush, and if you need to have light in a certain place, then this is the way to get it there, without spilling on the rest of the room, without polluting the rest of the room. It just is like a very, very fine paintbrush with a long handle that can just stretch over the room and put a really small spot of light just exactly where you need it without affecting anything else. See, it's like the pinnacle of precision lighting. So that's the imaging system. Okay, so this is the parallel beam adapter. So this is the thing that basically turns this little hard light into part of the light stream system. So you have your little 400D, and then when you put the parallel beam adapter on it, it controls the light in a way whereby you can get the maximum output from this light, and you can put it precisely into your reflectors. And it makes this light, turns this light from a light that you just usually use for internal lighting to something that I'm starting to use, as I say, external lights through windows. So yeah, basically what it does, as I mentioned earlier, when the light is in the spot position, the bulb is right at the back of the housing, and as a consequence of that, a lot of the light is lost within the housing. And what this lens allows you to do is to have the light in the flood position, which is right at the front of the housing, and then the optics basically concentrate the light into a 4-degree output. You end up with a spot beam that's 5 times more powerful than had you not used the lens, which is kind of defies physics. When I first heard about this, I thought it couldn't be true. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You can use these lights direct with the lens on, but mostly the reason we use the lens is for the light stream system, which is the reflectors you see all around. And so what we do is we put the beam on and we bounce this light into one of our reflectors, which just makes it part of the light stream system. DoPs have been bouncing light since the beginning of time. So it's nothing unusual to take a light source, a hard light source, and to bounce that light source into something softer and to produce a variety of different lighting effects by doing that. You know, we've always, from the beginning of my career, we've been using shiny boards and poly boards and all kinds of materials to do that. But what excited me about the reflected light system was it's a controllable series of reflectors that all did something slightly different. And in combination, you can basically take that theory of reflected light and take it a lot deeper into your work, and it can become its own philosophy of lighting. So the thing that's exciting about the 400D is that the HMI bulb is a very small bulb, and when you compare that to, say, an LED light, for that sort of output the LED will be a lot bigger. Now there's something about point source of light that subconsciously we understand as sunlight. So the thing that's great about the 400D, when you combine the optics with the light stream system, then you get a quality of light that looks completely naturalistic, and it's defies the eye. I mean, you look at it and you think it's being produced by a light far away, and actually it's being produced by something in the corner of a room with a reflector and a little light with a parallel beam adapter on it. It's quite magical.